to see what happens here as we see the whole shot from these two runners.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, game number one between our very own Mr. Dino and the two-time runner-up JackimusWedge is underway. They both have their razor shields, so now it's all going to determine who's going to be the first one to take down the foot soldiers first and what kind of movements we're going to see. Mr. Dino being player one, and Jackimus, as always, sporting the player two, the red contestant.
Yeah, love to see the player two representation been really coming out as of late. We got a couple more folks that either dabble into it or really stick to it their whole way. Looks like a pretty close time, both coming through at a low 40 there.
Yeah, you're talking maybe half a second. It was a high 39 for Jackimus, a low 40 for Mr. Dino. Foot for Jackimus, that'll increase his speed. He's going to go ahead and pick it up. And vulnerability for Mr. Dino, not the best drops in the world to start things off, but here's Vitamin R for Mr. Dino with the rockets.
Yeah, you gotta love to see some rockets early. Ultimately, these guys are going to be looking for the orb as soon as possible. The longer you go without that orb, the more potential you have to be falling behind if you don't have those weapons dropping for you.
Back-to-back rocket drops, though, for Jackimus, and Jackimus is very meticulous in that firing. He's got the lead with a 122 high, a high 124. It's about a 2-second lead for Jack. No orb for either player.
Yeah, this is the room where it really starts to play. As you can see, Dino having to scramble, the swirl getting there, unfortunately, just so much traffic.
Yeah, that's going to be a time penalty because there's 4 shrapnels on the screen. Eat My Shrapnel, have to take care of 18 of the Mr. Shrapnels. Only 4 on the screen at maximum. So if you have 4 on the screen, you're going to be bleeding time if you don't take them out in a hurry.
Yeah, and you can only do so much while you're also having to deal with those shrapnel. If you're only focusing on those and you just have the pea shooter, those foot soldiers can get out of hand too, and all of a sudden you can start losing time to them. So luckily the rockets got picked up there by Dino, able to kind of clean up there at the end.
You know something, Mr. Dino, believe it or not, he actually gained time at the end a little bit. He's less now than 2 seconds behind. There's just better quality of weapons at the end for Mr. Dino than what Jack had.
Yeah, quite amazing. And again, you're looking at both sides not seeing that orb yet. This has to be driving both of them nuts. And you wonder mentality-wise, you got to be thinking that the other guy probably has got one by now. So how much time are you losing right now? How many weapons do you need?
Yeah, that's exactly what is on the mind of both of these runners here. Is now a razor shield for Mr. Dino, so equal opportunity drops. Still no orb. Almost 3 minutes in. This is crazy. This has to be some kind of record here, Taps.
I mean, this is looking a lot like my RNG sometimes. I think any runner's RNG at times. We have these streaks of just not getting anything. But this is just, for 2 runners to both be this dry on the drops. This is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, Jackimus had back-to-back key drops. And yeah, Mr. Dino is going to leave the room in the lead. Had a better quality drops with the 312. Jackimus now finds himself 3 seconds behind at 315. But we still have a nail-biter, which means it is time for Taco Bell, product placement with Taco Bell.
Oh, that is right on the money. What a way to start right now. I mean, this is a really a little bit of an ugly run right now. Things aren't dropping. Dino, I was worried about coming out in that first game, but looking phenomenal, doing real good work with what they've been getting. And we'll see how these early tank trouble drops right now.
And finally, an orb. Jackimus will be the first to get it and promptly loses it. He was in a very tight spot in the northeast corner there. My word, we went almost 4 minutes without an orb in this one. My word.
We were getting close to a double orbless, which I don't know if that's ever happened in a race. That would have been quite a sight to see.
Yeah.
But right now, we're pretty much at that. Rockets on both sides. Spreaders also dropping, so the weapons are coming through in this room.
Yes, they both have rockets. Now a spreader of Dino. And Dino going to finish the room first with a 427. He could set an orbless PB here.
That's an amazing time from Dino. Right out the gate, just making it work with what he's been given. Obviously, some good rockets there, but geez.
Not to be outdone, Jackimus is about 5 seconds back as Mr. Dino has a little spreader left. Oh, he grabs the spreader but gets shot while grabbing it. Ooh. Jack won't be able to get to that lobber, taking the death, so early problems against Mutoid Man and those gunners.
And those gunners, sometimes they just have that instinct and they just shoot a little bit ahead of where you're in. You get right into your line. Lobbers on both. Grenades, and I think both are going to ignore their grenades. So, oh man, one arm off, two arms pop for Dino here. So slightly ahead, but not by much.
Well, here's a spreader. Can Jackimus get to it? It's a long ways to go. He will get it just before getting blocked. Going to deal some serious damage here. 9 times the damage if you can jam it into. We got a glitch toy, Tabs. We got a glitch toy.
Oh, you love to see it. Really got that damage out of there. I think he could have grabbed that spreader.
Yeah. And now he's back in the lead here as he's on the penultimate form, but Dino right behind us. They're both riding the lobbers, but now out of weapon is Dino. He needs something. It's going to be rockets. Jackimus riding the rest of these lobbers. Final form should be coming. Here it is.
Ooh, nice dodge from Dino right there. Had a shrap burst right there. Just was able to dodge it. Doing what he can.
Jack's not going to get to those rockets, so he is now weaponless. Now he's got lobbers. If he can land these shots, it's going to be enough. As MrDino gets taken down, he'll get the rockets, but Jackimus doesn't get the lobber refill and missed a lot of shots. This is going to be close here, Tabs. It's going to be Jack.
Just barely, yeah, just a little bit better, just a little bit further ahead, I think, on the damage, and then, yeah, did get the weapons to seal that off. Nicely finished with the grenades there by Jackie, and very close, though. I mean, that was a phenomenal run, really, with so little being given from both these runners. Still nailing down a mid-6 minute is pretty nice.
Yeah, we saw one orb that entire game. Jackimus getting a 630. I mean, it's virtually orbless for all intents and purposes. MrDino turning in a respectable 647. So it is going to be Jackimus striking and drawing first blood.
First one in the belt, that's going to be big going forward because I just see it. It's really going to just come down to probably maybe a couple drops in Mutoid Man. You know, I think you're going to see this with our next match as well. It's just, what's that particular run give you? And how, you know, maybe you get some enemy movement or something like that, or you're just in the wrong place, but maybe by a step or two, but it's just going to come down to just these small little micro interactions.
Yeah, I just let both runners know that Jackimus saw one orb in tank trouble, and that was the only orb that entire game.
That is some absurd RNG. You know, sometimes you get a little bit, you know, rough on getting an orb drop, but it's just one runner, and the other one, you know, gets everything. But that one for two runners, just to have the absolute drought of orbs right there, something to see.
Both runners are ready. I'm going to count them down.
All right. But that's what you'll see at this level. Runners like this, they will be able to perform and still put up good times, even getting, you know, way less than ideal setup for the run. So always impressive to see. Yeah, two sub 7 times right there with as bad as those drops were at points. Quite amazing.
All right, here we go. We're underway for game number 2. Let's see if MrDino can equalize or if Jackimus can take a commanding 2-0 lead. Both of them have their Razor Shield. Here we go.
Yeah, always be kind of interesting in this initial room. I see Dino kind of going a little bit out of the way, making sure to grab those shoes. It's always nice to have that little bit extra speed. Allows you to use this Razor Shield as a weapon a little bit more. Definitely runs into the doors there. And Dino will be getting out of here at about a 40, a little bit over, and about a 42 for Jackimus.
That's about a 2-second lead for Jack going into collect power-ups. A very good opener there for MrDino, so he will indeed have the whole shot. First weapon, going to be rockets. An excellent starting drop for Dino. A foot, nothing to write home about for Jack.
Looks like nuke on the feet there for Dino. Doesn't need it. It's a lot of this is just probably going to be right now. Yeah, Dino going to go out of his way for the invulnerability. Not something typical, but really just trying to force this drop. Like, come on, you got to give me an orb at some point game. Dino has to be thinking, if I go 2 games without an orb right now.
Look at this. They are literally in sync going into Eat My Shrapnel at 122 each. And finally, Dino sees an orb. Can he get to it without getting hit by the swirl? Nice movement there. Meanwhile, Jackimus did get an orb. That was his second drop in collect power. So they're both riding the orb.
Ooh, and a little bit of fancy footwork. Dino had to do some dodges there for some shrapnel breaking. Had 4 on the board for a very slight amount of time. I don't think really lost any time or any significant time on that. Now has rockets. Real easy. This is a nice little position for Dino. Not used to this probably right now in this room.
No.
Nice and comfortable just being with the orb there and no foot soldiers.
Jackimus wisely avoiding the Razor Shield, and it is just an ever so slight lead for Jackimus going into total carnage.
Jackie and Dino able to set up, get through that initial pile of foot soldiers.
Ooh, look at the rich getting rich. I mean, Razor Shield followed by rockets and more rockets for Dino.
The Vitamin R is flowing. Get your bulk out. Looking real nice. Jackimus doing all right, still maintaining that center just fine with just the orb, but obviously you get those rockets, you really start shredding these enemies. Has the Razor Shield now, so a little bit better.
He needed something to complement that orb there. MrDino been getting some great weapons. Thought that was the end of the room. No, not at 245. That's a great time, but not that great. You got a little bit more to clean up, MrDino, before you can exit that room. But look at this. It's going to be sub 3, 258 hit the door for Dino. Unfortunately, Jack going to lose some time to that final shrapnel, but still going to put up a 304. He's about 6.5 seconds back. And it's time for some Taco Bell product placement with Taco Bell.
Ugh.
Man, oh man, these two runners showing us why they made it as far as they've had in the tournament, putting up some real blazing times going into the bonus room. MrDino has a full clip of a weapon. It's a spreader. He's going to use some of it before grabbing the rockets. Now he wants to use the rockets, takes down both the gunners. Now they have a shot and keep control of the middle. A dude for Jackimus did not want to see that.
No, did not want to see that. Yeah, interesting use with the weapons right there. I think a lot of times, I know I would, I see rockets on the floor and I might be trying to get them right away. Dino actually take a little bit of time. Hey, I got
but then he drops to orb too. So now they're both orbless again. Jackimus does what he does best, is that just ignores everything and just try to take down the foot soldiers. When it works, it's a thing of beauty, but when it doesn't, it can be disastrous. But now a replacement orb for Dino, and it's the end of the room too, so he has a chance at the ball buster. Jackimus sees an orb. Will he be able to get to it? He does. No, but he loses it.
And that's just it. When he had just come out of that right side door, had cleared out to the left side, and just that little back step after grabbing the orb, they spawned in right behind him essentially and takes that out.
Dino does not get the ball buster, but Jackimus finds himself more than 20 seconds back. He's going to need Mutoid Man to be Putroid Man against Dino.
Starting that way, you got shoes for Dino there after the lobbers. Let's see if he can get the item drops. Does get his spreader, but it's on the far side. Gonna have to manual this. Does an all right job.
He's got tons of shots in. Gonna go ahead and switch it up to the grenades there. That would have been a perfect player 2 spreader, FYI.
That's the dilemma. It's like I thought about going to player 2 myself, but I figure I messed that up and I accidentally. See somebody on the left side mess it up. Yeah.
When you're used to one thing, you might as well stay with it. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of lag on Dino's side here, so that may come into factor if it is a close race. Jackimus, meanwhile, gets a player 1 side spreader. He'll have to do manual himself.
And another spreader on Dino's side. Yeah, very interesting. I mean, Dino.
Invulnerability!
That's a huge invulnerability right now. Dino's going to be getting into final form. And
if he can get enough transfer damage in, he's going to get a sub 6.
Yeah, might be able to just get it with this lobber there. Starts landing some shots.
Problem is he's missing a lot of shots here. Now he's going to switch up, and he gets a sub 6.
Oh, beautiful right there. Yeah, probably didn't even need to switch to the spreader, but got some guaranteed damage. The final form Mutoid was moving around a lot on him and is able to secure it right there. Nicely done by Dino. 555 on that side. Jackimus, just not able to get the close the gap there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, Jackimus played well with what the game gave him, but he just ran into a buzzsaw. I mean, that was about a 1 minute, 45-second Mutoid Man fight that Mr. Dino just put up to procure that sub 6. So another one on the board this tournament. You gotta love it. Jackimus trying to finish it up. I mean, he did well. Just Dino had the much better RNG in Mutoid Man. I mean, already being more than 20 seconds down was bad enough. But when your opponent gets the god RNG, there's just nothing you can do about it, Taps.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. This game, obviously, or this tournament, I should say, obviously we're facing off head-to-head through these bracket matchups, but it's always you against the game. And really, the game's almost always gonna get the last laugh on you, but you do what you can with what you get. And I think that's, game one was a great example of that. I think both the runners really showed that even with the limited resources, be able to really have a pretty impressive race there. And I think we're just gonna have more of that going forward. I think the orb a little bit kinder this second run. It will be interesting if these guys could actually get a real early first room orb drop and see what they could really do. See both these guys get some sub 6s in here.
Indeed. We've already seen Jackimus put up some sub 6s in the tournament. Now we've seen Mr. Dino put up a very respectable 555. Let's see how Jackimus can respond to that, and if he can take that 2-1 lead, or if our very own Mr. Dino can ride that momentum and give himself that lead, as we're going to be underway now. Game number 3 between Dino and Jack. We do have a few seconds of separation between the two, but I can assure you that they are perfectly in sync, at least in terms as far as the timers are concerned. Both of them have their razor shield.
So you might be wondering if this is the first time you've actually seen one of these awesome races here in Super Smash TV. You'll see that this razor shield is going to be common through all of our races. It's pretty much the only thing we can reliably manipulate in this run is getting that first drop razor shield. Real nice for just clearing out that room a little bit faster. You actually don't get access to a lot of the drops that are actually available in the rest of the game in that room. So razor shield, you'll see them use it offensively and really clear out that room in about 40 seconds almost every time.
Jackimus took the hole shot by less than half a second on Mr. Dino. It was about a 40.5 to a high 40. So weapon quality not good for both at the moment here in collect power-ups.
Yeah, grenades, it deals a lot of damage. There you go. Dino getting the orb pretty early right there. Razor shield for Jack, so going to be able to kind of run around and use that, but going to be looking for that orb that Dino has, and I think the more and more right here, yeah, Dino's going to be able to clear that up.
No, I think we might have Jackimus. Well, no, Dino is in the lead by about 3 seconds, because remember, his time is a little slower. So, but he drops the orb. A critical mistake there for Mr. Dino. Let's see if he can get a replacement.
And when the orb luck's been a little brutal to you in a run, you hate to just lose it when you do get it early like that. So hopefully we'll see this as it goes through. I know Dino will probably go and try to get these drops, to try to really see if they can force an orb drop here.
Meanwhile, still no orb for Jackimus, trying to do everything he can with what the game has given him, but he gets an orb. His patience pays off, and Mr. Dino gets his orb back.
Wow, and there you go, and yeah, Jackimus both getting the orb out of there.
Oh, I'll tell you what though, Tabs, that Jackimus has cut the lead to 1 second. That was just a real well-played room by Jackimus. A few mistakes there by Mr. Dino. That shrapnel's getting a little bit too overpowering, so we got ourselves a ball game, and Jackimus getting the razor shield first.
Yeah, gets the razors, goes out of the way for a couple drops here. Definitely looking to roll these drops over, try to get some good items here. And I think ultimately for right now, feels pretty confident being able to hold the center. So yeah, going out of the way, gets the rockets though. There you go. That's what Jackie was looking for. Almost drops the orb. I can't believe he held on.
Yeah, that was a close call there, doing some bobbing and a weaving in the middle here, trying to make sure that he keeps control of that middle. But Dino gets some good quality weapons. Spreaders, more spreaders. Jackimus is going to have a 3 a high 309. Mr. Dino, a high 308. It's still a 1 second game. And once again, we have some time for product placement with Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Yes, indeed. Don't drop that chalupa, ladies and gentlemen, because we've got ourselves a real nail biter here going into tank trouble, and neither player has any weapons to take with them. But more importantly, Jackimus does not have that orb.
No, unfortunately not. Yeah, having that drop. See, Cards, I thought we were going to do a little back and forth Taco Bell. Yeah. But we missed it. It's gone now. It's too late. Here we go. Into tank trouble. Gunner down, one each for each one. Jack taking out the second there.
Ooh, and Dino gets his orb clipped just before he grabs that razor shield. Yikes.
You know, be able to hold center for a little bit with that razor shield. But yeah, and Spreader will do it. Rockets will help. So getting the item.
Oh, Jackimus doing some amazing dancing to keep that orb. I have no idea how he did that.
Fancy footwork from Jackie right there. Not too shabby at all, holding that center.
Wow, Dino, though, with that weapon quality, still has a 419 and the lead going into Mutoid, man. Jackimus once again going to be behind the 8 ball. He's going to be, again, 20 seconds plus behind.
Yeah, had to clean up those shrapnel at the end right there. Going to be a little bit of a lead for Dino. Let's see how the drops shake out. This is really what it all comes down to. Rockets and grenades. So Dino getting weapons, kind of.
I think he took, I don't know if that was an intentional death. Maybe he was fishing for a spreader. There's the spreader. One drop too late. He's going to have to manual.
And Jackie getting a spreader on the feet right as the swirl spawns. Doesn't turn in time to gun him down and gets taken out by the swirl.
Ooh, you hate to see that. That could have given Jackimus a chance to maybe gain some ground. There's a spreader. Dino, though, out of invulnerability and gets a key. Jackimus got prime player 1 spreader. He's going to have to do manual. And he gets run over immediately.
That's a really hard shake. Mutoid Man just really staying still, and then all of a sudden when you start to approach with the spreader, immediately shakes left on Jackie.
Oh, Dino grabs the rockets, but gets vibrated into Mutoid Man. So right now, both players struggling.
Another player 1 spreader for Jackie, but gets lasered down immediately upon grabbing it. This has been a harsh Mutoid right now. It's anybody's game.
I think this is the Evil MC version of Mutoid Man that we're seeing here, because they're both having problems, and they're both neck and neck again. Dino ahead on the timer, so keep that in mind.
Exactly. Yeah, I was about to say slightly ahead by Jackie's side, but then time it's just about even. Death on Mr. Dino's side. That's going to be a continue for Mr. Dino. That's been rough.
Take a look at Jackimus' side. If he takes another death, he'll also have to be taken to continue here. So yeah, both players again struggling in this fight. Both have popped the head here. A lobber that Dino's going to ignore, but I'll tell you what, if a spreader comes on either side, this could determine the winner. An empty drop for Jack.
Dino really, drying up right there. Final 4 for Dino. Dino gets there first. It can't be much longer for Jackie, but getting the lobber damage is Dino. Invulnerability is able to use it. It's looking pretty good for Dino right now if he can string together a couple more weapons.
Changes it up to the Rockets for more consistent shots and gets the win. Mr. Dino with the back-to-back, and he'll take a 2-1 lead. Jackimus not that far behind.
Not at all. That was, that really came down to just like, when's the weapons going to come out for whoever decided. It was, Mr. Dino closing it out with, just Rockets, little spreader there, just making it work.
Tell you what, Jackimus cut 13.5 seconds of that lead that Mr. Dino had going into Mutoid Man fight. Definitely had a better performance, but the difference ended up being tank trouble there. Dino just getting much better drops. Jackimus dropping that orb at the very end of Total Carnage. To me, that was the difference right there. If he doesn't lose that orb, Jackimus probably wins this one.
Absolutely. The orb always going to be something that you have to, if you're in the middle of the run like you are when you're in Carnage, it really hurts to lose the orb there because you just don't think you're ever going to see one again. And I think right now, momentum. I mean, you got to be feeling it if you're Dino right now, just because you got no orb in that first run. and it's treated you pretty decently in these last two. I think though, I mean, yeah, no, honestly, I think Dino might be able to take this next game here and really put the nails to Jack.
Yeah, I think you're going to be right. I think we're going to see the same 3-1 situation happen to Jack, much like we saw in his last round against Telio 1. But will he be able to come back like he did against Telio? Or is MrDino just going to reel off 4 straight? Jackimus needs this victory badly here, as game number 4 is now underway.
Yeah, I agree. That'll change, though. If Jack's able to get that early orb finally, is able to start actually getting established with some weapons as well, Jack can absolutely, yeah, he can take a good run and bring it home for sure. So it will really depend on this early RNG. I feel like Dino has been getting the better of it.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be a hot time for Jackimus going into power-ups. It's a high 38, low 39. He has the lead by about a second and a half.
Yeah, stellar. Like, yeah, that's exactly what you want. That Razor Shield evaporated pretty quick, and there's the early orb for Jackie. Here we go.
Just what the doctor ordered, opening drop orb on his feet. So now he's got to maintain that. Getting invulnerability is not the kind of drops you want to see to complement that orb. Dino starting with grenades, that's not what he wants to see either, and he's just going to ignore it. At some point, you're going to want to fish for that orb. Jackimus, more bad drops. Here's some rockets for MrDino. But the power of that orb, even without any good weapons, Jack still gets a hot time of sub 80 going into Eat My Shrapnel. Dino getting some rockets to close the room, and he's going to be about 4.5 seconds back with the 124.
I mean, that was incredible. That last room from Jackie, yeah, not getting anything, completely ignoring it. I'm just going to hold center, have my orb, and get a sub 80. Incredible time, just melted those guys down. That was beautiful.
Absolutely, as a Razor Shield has formed for MrDino, but still lacks the orb as they both get a key!
Yeah, no Pleasure Dome visits for these folks. There you go, the orb on MrDino023. So going to even it up now as far as the weaponry goes.
A mistake there for Jackimus. He didn't think that was the end of the room, so he is going to probably lose a little bit of that lead. It was a 2:03 to a 2:07. Nah, it's about the same still, 4.5 seconds.
Ooh, and the cross up, those shrapnel just popped in a little bit different directions, so that diagonal shrapnel end up catching Jackimus, taking a death that's really going to hurt right now in this room.
Yeah, that's a harsh death there for Jackimus. He could not afford to do that after MrDino. Now he's got the works. He's got the Razor Shield. Now if he could get some weapons to complement that Razor Shield, he could be double digits lead easily there for MrDino. Jackimus needs to see some weapons. He gets a smart bomb, which is something, but he wants better drops than that. That is not a better drop.
Yeah, he's getting the secondary, like, pairing drops, getting invulnerability, he's getting smart bomb. Like, you can make those kind of work for you in a little bit when you don't have the orb, but yeah, you want the orb. You want rockets, which got the rockets now, so at least we'll be able to really start handling this room. We'll use the smart bomb, but yeah, gonna fall.
Well, he at least mitigated the damage, but he is still 8.5 seconds behind going into the bonus room. But we've played 4 games. We've had 4 product placements. It's time to have some Taco Bell product placement with Taco Bell.
But both having rockets here, of course, MrDino with orbs and rockets, that ammo is going to evaporate pretty quickly, but should be able to take out both these gunners all the same. Gets the nuke, too, so is able to take out all the foot soldiers.
Yeah, that nuke gave him some time to make sure that the shot was lined up, and he was able to nail both gunners there. Jackimus gets both gunners with his rockets. Now fishing for orb, fishing for weapons. Gonna get some rockets. These are some great drops. Dino drops his orb, so... Oh, but he gets it back!
Wow, it giveth, it taketh, it taketh, it giveth. Right there. Not too bad.
Whoa, that green shirt, though, came dangerously close to taking it back again, though, from Dino. Jackimus getting an invulnerability, so now the weapon's really starting to dry up on his side. Dino trying to keep that middle intact, doing a lot of dancing. Those purple shirts getting dangerously close to that orb. Oh, my goodness gracious. How long can he keep this up? The whole room? My word!
Wow. But Jackie was able to use 3 invulnerabilities in the row and just ran into enemies. So
And he cut another 3.5 seconds in that lead. We got ourselves another close finish. Sub 6 for both is possible.
absolutely. Swirl kind of jumping up on Dino real quick there, but doesn't lose anything, luckily. Jackimus gonna take the death there, unfortunately, but gets the lava on the other side.
Swat Dino got the ball buster. It went right through him. Great job there.
Ooh, Dino sees that spreader, though. That's gonna have to be a manual. If he does, gets a little bit.
He's got a little bit.
Yeah.
He's backing off a little. He does get run over, but did pop the second arm, so he's definitely got the lead. Here's a spreader chance for Jackimus. He's got a long ways to go. Is he gonna get to it? Yes.
Wow, and wow, Mutoid just moved forward a little bit off that. I didn't know if he was even going to get to it if he didn't move forward.
And it's
right
for a refill, but then gets sabotaged by lobbers, but not the worst thing in the world. He needed to have done manuals here in order to really do something with that spreader, as the ribcage is open for both.
This is close. The weapons, Jackie able to use the lobbers, caught up. Lobbers for both now. Here's a spreader on Dino's side. Gonna have to manual this. It takes the death. Unfortunately, the shake to the left there. Oh, this is right down to it. They have to be incredibly close. Blank drop, though, for Jackie.
Yeah, that is going to hurt him a lot as Dino wrote right into the old school strats. Final form now for Mr. Dino. Able to get the refill now. So if he can land these shots, there's a spreader for Jackimus, but he is committed. Final form. And this may be Mr. Dino taking a 3-1 lead. And it is with that last slobber.
Yeah, just enough consistent damage. Nice shots there. Nice lobs from Dino. Able to lock it down with that weapon. And, again, a very close one. Really coming down, again, to that final form. Dino just entering with a little bit of a lead and able to lock it down with some lobber shots.
Absolutely. Another close race. It's a 14-second victory for Mr. Dino. So he put on another about 8.5 seconds. So he had the better fight, little bit better weapons. Jackimus had some spreaders. They just weren't in right spots. And now, once again, just like in his match against Talia 1, he finds himself with his back firmly against the wall, trailing 3-1. Can Jackimus, the 2-time runner-up, make another 3-1 comeback here? Or will it be our very own Mr. Dino wrapping it up right here in game number 5? This is going to get interesting.
I have to think that we're gonna see a. I don't know about the. What's been interesting is a little bit of interesting orb play. We definitely got a slightly earlier one from Jackimus there, but I don't know. I think again we're gonna see that early orb for Jackie and might be able to close it out and make this a 3-2.
Furron Burgundy is here in the commentator's booth. Do you have an announcement to make?
Oh.
No, I'm just crashing the party here. I was hoping to be able to join this, but occupational obligations kept me until this time.
All righty. Okay. I'll go ahead and get these runners started then for game number 5.
So what have you seen, Furron, from your side? What have you liked in the matchup so far?
Considering that I first got into everything as that last Mutoid Man was going on, I don't know if Jack had seen there was a spreader just above, and I guess he still had the lobber and ended up getting to the final form. But I wonder if he had seen that in time and taken the death while there was the potential transfer damage, or if he might have been able to catch up, or if it was just a little too late.
Yeah, that was interesting. I think maybe he just dedicated to that, or maybe just thought it was a little too late, wasn't going to be able to reliably get it. That could have been very interesting, though. That extra little damage, and of course the transfer damage, could have shifted that decision right there.
No question about it. Here we are in game number 5, and let's take a look at the times here. It's going to be another good one for Jack. It's going to be a mid-38 into collect power-ups. Mr. Dino with a high 39, low 40. It's a little less than a 1.5 second lead. for Jackimus. So he's had some good first rooms here, but he's not been able to put everything together here in Arena 1, and he's going to have to do that now, or it could be the end of dog racing for Jack.
Foot certainly doesn't help, but there's some rockets that will help.
My word, another opening orb for Mr. Dino here. The first one to get it between the two featured runners. So he is living well after that opening game where he was orbless. He has been finding early orbs often, but it is going to still be very close between the two runners. But Jackimus needs to play well, and he needs to find that orb. Down on Dino's side, but those Mr. Shrapnel's getting a little bit crowded here. Might be costing him some time, but still no orb for Jackimus here, and this is getting a little bit dicey. He's down 3-1. He can't feel good about his odds right now, considering what's been going on here up to this point.
Well, the drops haven't helped. He's gotten 3 grenades in a row to end Eat My Shrapnel. And while he does have a
very slight lead, maybe a third of a second at most.
But yeah, I'm kind of surprised he didn't chase a little bit more. And even though those grenades are less than ideal, just you have no orb. That's what you're looking for this room. And this is where, unless it shows up just about now, Mr. Dino is going to take the lead.
Yeah, now he's getting rockets to go with that orb. If Jackimus does not start seeing an orb or better quality weapons, he's going to be double digits behind, easily going into the bonus room.
Of course, double digits in the bonus room, not the end of it. I mean, you're dealing with this.
There we go. He does finally get that orb almost 3 minutes in, so he'll have a chance at least to mitigate the damage. Mr. Dino keeping that orb healthy. At last, Shrapnel is going to explode, but Mr. Dino is going to have the lead with a high 3-minute flat. Jackimus, though, is going to be 8.5 seconds back with the 3:09. You know what it's time for, Mr. Burgundy.
Oh, Taco Bell, product placement with Taco Bell.
All right, so with both of them having the orb going into tank trouble, the first weapon for both is going to be critical here. Let's see what Mr. Dino gets. A spreader, that is not too bad, but he loses the orb by the purple shirt. Here's an opening maybe for Jack. He gets rockets on the feet. Both gunners are down. These are the kind of weapons. And now a razor shield.
Yeah, able to use it. Really is able to clear out that room well, obviously, with the rockets. And then, yeah, this razor's just going to probably be able to be carried to the end.
Meanwhile, Mr. Dino had gotten a replacement, but the shrapnel takes away the orb. So now Dino, Jackimus is going to have the lead, provided he keeps it. Yeah, he's definitely got the lead. Man, he made that turnaround. He's got a 4:12 into Mutoid Man. I mean, if he gets an 88-second fight, it's tournament record.
That's what I was going to say. You know, as much as Dino had that lead going through Carnage right there, you're dealing with tank trouble has so much variation to how it can be played, how fast it could go. And obviously, Mutoid Man has shown incredible swings and how much time you can be lost or gaining it.
Nope, didn't get it. Did not get the ball buster.
Still to be decided between these two runners. This should be very interesting going down to it.
16 seconds going in. A good spreader spot for Jackimus. He should be able to get it. Yes, so now a chance to get some big-time damage. And coming towards him as well to get even more damage in. So he's got both arms popped off and not quite a glitch to it. Another spreader for Jack! Oh my goodness!
Yeah, both have spreaders right now. Dino's going to be able to get it. Jack's going to be able to get it. Jack is going to be doing... Oh,
he gets sabotage! He got sabotaged! Oh my god. He could have had a shot at the tournament record if he didn't get sabotaged. He just got sabotaged, and I don't need to remind you who put that rocket there.
Glitch showing on Dino's screen. Just a lot of damage being dealt out in a short time right there, and then rockets just ruining everything.
Yeah, if he didn't get sabotaged by those rockets, he probably has a shot at breaking the tournament record.
Well, Mutoid's gone right now. He's a dust in the wind at this point if he didn't get sabotaged. But
no question about it. But here's the final four for Dino. He is still very much in this.
Absolutely. These lobbers landing, though, for Jackie, doing well, and there you go.
And Jackimus will survive elimination barely, as Mr. Dino just about ready to wrap up this one. It's going to be a 6:07 for Jackimus. Mr. Dino trying to finish it up. The last shots, though, he's missing a lot. These lobbers, you would think would do it, but they do, just barely.
Yeah, Mutoid really sitting in a very, in-between awkward spot, moving around a lot on Dino right there. You hate that when you know you have lobbers and you're missing them. They're just going right over the top. Yeah, Mutoid didn't make that very fun at the end, but all for naught. 20 seconds behind, but yeah, 6:07 there for Jackie. Not too bad. Brings it back game 5 and makes this a 3-2 series.
Absolutely. So Jackimus, he's been in this position before. Can he do it again? We will find out.
We most certainly will. Now, a good observation that that Bryself had brought up that I was going to bring to the table as well. There was a point where Jack had he had a chance at some lobbers after a death, but he was shooting his kind of proverbial blanks at Mutoid Man and just missed it by a couple of frames. That could have pushed him to possibly, it could have saved him a few seconds, maybe even a sub-6.
Yeah, that's right, because whenever you're shooting your weapon at something, your pea shooter, you're actually slowed down a little bit. It doesn't seem too noticeable, but it's enough. And yeah, those few frames, could have been the difference between a win or a loss had it been just a little bit closer. I have both runners ready. I'm going to count them down.
All right. Yeah, I've been there. I've done it myself. Sometimes you're just not even thinking about it. You just been holding buttons the entire time and just not even thinking about the fact that you are going slower, but you certainly do. And it's cost me on weapon grabs before. Yeah, might have cost Jackie right there. But here we go. Game 6. Dude, I think he's going to bring it back. I think we're going to a game 7. I see Jackimus getting this one. I'm looking forward to it. And here we go. Yeah, still that few seconds off on timers, but yeah, we'll be able to still see a pretty good one here.
Yeah, no question about it. We've got a razor shield for Jack. We've got a razor shield for Mr. Dino. Jackimus, the last couple of times, he's put in some really hot times. These 38s going into collect power-ups. Let's see what happens for both runners. So, Jackimus, though, an early death, a mistake.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you just don't think that's ever going to happen. I think most people will just run that razor shield right in the door and not even have a second thought about it. Green gets through, and it takes a whack at him with the Louisville. And there you go.
And it is Mr. Dino this time with the hole shot. So Jackimus off to a rough start here. Mr. Dino with a low 40. So grenades, though, for Dino. Not the weapon he wanted to see. Jackimus gets an invulnerability, going to ignore it. Invulnerability for Dino as he is fishing for an orb. Vulnerability for Jack. Now a nuke for Dino to give himself a breather. And the first orb belongs to Jack in this one.
Oh, but he loses the orb and didn't go for the razor shield. A bit curious.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Jackimus, some sloppy gameplays. Dino now grabs an orb, and now he's in a little bit of a pickle here. Somehow manages to squeak by, keeping that orb intact. Jackimus has the lead, barely, but Dino, more importantly, has the orb. Now he's got a replacement, does Jack.
Oh, and thankfully, yeah, it gets the razor. Is now just going to be able to be real comfortable in this room. It had to really be nervous after dropping that first orb there, but it works out. It's able to probably just cruise through this room. Probably going to be working through drops, try to get some rockets.
Yeah, that could have been a catastrophe there for Jack, but yeah, with that razor shield, he is sitting golden here in Eat My Shrapnel, and probably will still have the lead going into Total Carnage. A spreader pickup, dangerous spreader pickup by Dino. It's a 212 for Jackimus. Room not over yet for Mr. Dino, so he's increased that lead. 216, it's 4-second lead for Jack. Those shrapnels, man, that could have been dangerous for Jack, but he keeps that orb. Dino keeping the middle here. Neither player getting any good weapons, though.
Yeah, both really having to work to hold this center right now. Jackie has a little clear. Dino's still having to deal with shrapnel breaks. Some angles from those foot soldiers. Still maintaining, though, both holding the orb well.
Now grenades, man. These guys haven't seen a spreader or a rocket. This has been... Oh, and Dino loses his orb!
A little bit of a commentator's curse there for me. They were just collapsing in on Dino a couple times right there. That was a tough hold.
Now a razor shield for Dino, but he's just going to use it as an offensive weapon rather than to keep the middle. He's trying to fish for another orb. Jackimus311 does get his orb, so Dino's able to at least mitigate the time loss, but he's going to still find himself trailing by about 10 seconds. Does take down the final shrapnel. It is 3:20. It's a 9-second lead, as once again, it's time for some product placement, gentlemen.
I'd buy that for $1.
Oh, Taco Bell. Product placement with Taco Bell.
Burrito, nacho burrito. Master Tank, what are you doing here?
All right, so invulnerability for Jackimus, not the kind of weapon he wants to start things off, so he's gonna do what he does best, ignore the gunners. Let's see what Mr. Dino gets. Smart bomb, good drop. He can take down one of the gunners, which he does, and takes down both of them. Very nicely done with that nuke.
And Jackie, unfortunately, getting rockets and dying immediately.
And Dino drops the orb, but gets an immediate replacement.
Yeah, I think the run just shifted right here. Dino definitely is taking a hold on this room, doing very well here in tank trouble. Jackimus has just lost a couple things, and it's really getting, luckily got that nuke to help out.
Yeah, but still that gunner remains on the wall. More rockets now for Dino. I think we are going to see a lead change here. It drops the orb, but gets yet another replacement, which he'll be able to do the ball buster. He's got the lead, 434. Jackimus, though, only lost a second in that room in spite of everything. It's 10 seconds, so here we go. The Dino does not get the ball buster, just swings wildly there, trying to get some manuals and gets run over. Did get a little bit in it there, though.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. Both those gunners on the board, they're going to make that manual even trickier. Jackimus getting grenades kind of gets a nice little caveat of being able to take out those gunners immediately. So arm pop for Dino, going to be just getting that. Okay.
His second arm's now popped off for Dino. The first one is just popped for Jack. So Dino definitely has the lead, but out of weapons and gets an empty drop. This could be an opening for Jack to cut that lead. But he gets a sprinter, but blocked!
Oh, he's blocked, but he still gets it!
He'll still get it, but he's not going to be able to do as much damage as you like. He's going to have to do manuals on the rest. Not getting the shots in, but does pop the head. 2 forms away from advancing to the second chance quarterfinals. It's Mr. Dino now riding the old school, the lobber train, as is Jackimus.
And Dino did a great job with that spreader. It's now back to final form. Jackimus is going to have to see.
He needs it now. He needs a spreader now. He sees a spreader, but the problem is he is out of invulnerability. He has to go manuals here. Dino needs a... It's an empty drop for Dino, though. Hang on.
Jackimus was able to get a decent amount of damage there. Not enough to get to the next form, though. Lobber on Dino's side should be able to close this out if he lands.
Here it comes, and that is going to do it. Mr. Dino, our very own Mr. Dino, has taken down the 2-time silver medalist, say that 3 times fast, JackimusWedge, and will have guaranteed himself a sweet Super Nintendo controller as well as $30 in cash.
Yeah, very nicely done from Mr. Dino. That was all sorts of, getting that first run and playing as well as he did. Unfortunately, not getting the win in that one, but then getting the 2 in the row and just really just brought on strong right there. Getting 4 of those last 5 games there. Very nicely done from Mr. Dino.
And with that, it is going to be Jackimus finishing in the top 7, and he will be taking home $20 in cash. But our very own Mr. Dino He is not done yet, ladies and gentlemen. He is moving on to the second chance quarterfinals, where he will be taking on the loser of
CHX and 40-watt range.
That is right for Unburgundy. So no matter what happens, Mr. Dino has himself an SNES controller as well as $30, but he's going to have to take on one of those two. Going to be a tough one to say the least, but with Mr. Dino's skills, anything is possible.